Hi, folks. I'm Father Joe Grimaldi. You can call me Joe, and I'd like to welcome you to my podcast. But now, here's our host and friend, Ken Calvert.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ken Calvert, longtime Father Joe Grimaldi fan, and lucky enough to have him right here in the studio with me today. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time once again for another edition of the Father Joe Grimaldi podcast.
And I'm the lucky one.
Well, this one is just for the friends of the Father Joe Grimaldi podcast. Going on right now at Hoot McInerney Star Lincoln, you can enjoy the opportunity to build your Lincoln. That's right. Visit our showroom in Southfield, Michigan, or simply log on to starlincoln.com. You can build your Lincoln Corsair. How about a Nautilus, the Aviator, or the beautiful Navigator? Experience the power of Sanctuary in your custom-ordered Lincoln vehicle. You pick the color, the interior, the wheels, and you can choose between gas or your plug-in hybrid. The benefits that come from owning a Lincoln-certified pre-owned vehicle will exceed your expectations. Hoot McInerney Star Lincoln, located on 12 Mile Road, just east of Telegraph, in beautiful Southfield. Or you can always visit us at starlincoln.com. Star Lincoln, home of the Father Joe Star treatment. Okay, I'm out of my mind on a Monday morning. I'm just going to ramble and you're going to go, settle down, settle down. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? It's ordinary time, and I think I told you that it's ordinary time in the church. It's also Father Grimaldi time, correct?
Sure.
All right, yeah. You have a perfect look right now. The sun is boxing your face as it comes through the window. One half of your face has sun lighting it up. And
the other's in the dark.
It's got a real sort of a painted glass look to it.
Okay.
Let me get my Bob Ross painting kit out here and put a couple of little headphones right here on the top.
That's right.
There's his collar. Let's do his little collar.
Yeah, because you have the windows you could replace with the stained glass.
You know this Bob Ross, the painting guy?
Yeah.
He's very, very popular again. The kids love this guy. They have Bob Ross painting parties. I'm not making this up.
Yeah.
And I remember him. That was the greatest guy on the planet Earth to take a nap to. And this was when Bob Ross was in reruns on public television probably 25 years ago, doing morning radio. You could not pick a better guy to take a nap to than a 30-minute show featuring Bob Ross painting a landscape.
He must have had a soothing voice.
Now, here's what we're going to do. Let's put a couple of mountains up over here, a couple of mountains. And you'd hear this, and all of a sudden I'd be out like a light. But anyway, Bob Ross, you have sort of a Bob Ross look to you. So we are in ordinary time. It won't be long before we're knocking on Lent's door. And it's amazing how slow time moves, yet how quickly time moves. Here's a question for you. When should people start to think about and prepare for Lent?
I don't know how to answer that because myself, in my own life, I don't deal with the past or the future. So I deal primarily with the present. What is happening now? And I've only started to realize that recently when I start thinking about how come I hardly remember what I did last night or yesterday, and sometimes I have to think, where did you go 2 days ago? And I can't remember. Because I guess it's not that important to me, except the present is very important. Right now, I'm sitting in front of Ken Calvert.
Yeah.
He is very important to me now. Now, maybe when I leave here, I may not see him, so I'm not going to be thinking about him.
No.
So I don't want to give any long stories on this stuff, but all I want to say is this. When can people start thinking about Lent? Well, hopefully they're enjoying themselves right now. And then they can start thinking about Lent on March 2nd, okay, when it's Ash Wednesday and they have some idea about what they really want to do for Lent. And I'm not even going to get into that part of it because we've done podcasts about that.
We've done a couple indeed, yes.
So, but people can think maybe a couple of days ahead of time before they go to the churches to get the ashes, and what they really want to do for the Lenten season to prepare themselves to celebrate the resurrection, which involves them. It involves us. The idea that since the Lord opened the gates of heaven for you and me, well, Easter is a big, big event for us. So how do we prepare for that? Well, Lent is a time to do that, and we prepare for it in many ways. Some still choose to give up things, and yet I really think the better part would be, rather than give up things, take on things.
That's right.
So do something different, whether it be being nice to your neighbor that you take for granted all year round. Have a little Christmas now, because, I always think of Christmas. People are so nice to each other. It's unbelievable. Even in the streets, hello, goodbye, Merry Christmas, and so on.
Yeah.
But then as soon as it's over with, we don't want to even look at the people we're walking in the street with. Yeah. So maybe bring a little Christmas into Lent, okay? Because this way we practice loving your neighbor, the people that you deal with on a daily basis, being nice, being courteous, and all of those things. Anyway, what do we do to prepare ourselves for Lent?
I think that's a solid answer, what you just said. I like the fact of, instead of possibly looking down at the tips of your shoes as we trudge along through winter, at least here in this part of the country, look up and smile, say hello.
Yeah.
I notice just doing that now in a store, just being polite to somebody in a grocery store. It's remarkable how they kind of look at you like, oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Do you mean me?
I mean, were you actually saying I could go ahead? I didn't have a full, in other words, just like, I have more than you do. Why don't you go ahead? Or you look like you're in a hurry. Why don't you go ahead? And they turn around and they look at you like, were you serious? That was so kind. That was so nice. Yeah. I think that's a good thing to do every day, and I try and do that every day because I like getting that sort of response. Sometimes, and many times you don't.
Right.
Many times people think they're entitled and should have gone in front of you anyway. They were just slow to get the cash register. Damn, if I had to go back for that box of cereal, this clown wouldn't be in front of me. I said that because of the fact that I was thinking about Lent, and I always find that a curious time that people tend to be busy on social media talking about what people have given up for Lent. And as you mentioned beautifully, that Lent is indeed a time to take something on, to give something, rather than take something away. Although, I mean, the people that quit drinking for 40 days seem to really like to just do that. And that's
fine.
If you truly love chocolate and you want to give it up for 40 days and sort of do the sacrifice, and good.
It's discipline.
It's a rubber band snap on your wrist to remind you that you're doing it for the right reason.
But the other thing, too, the other part of that is enjoy the present.
Yeah. That's what you said that I found absolutely fascinating, and I thought, inside every podcast, I find 2 or 3 other podcasts. I love to be prepared, but I have all of that stuff over there, Joe, that you see, those 3 crates of newspapers and files are all things that I've brought down.
Yeah.
Or looked up for our podcast. But you will say something, and this goes back to Larry King and what he told me a long time ago. If you listen to the person's answer that you're interviewing, you will always find your next question. So don't race to your next question. Don't have them listed, because you'll notice that now, people, when you watch television and you'll see somebody interviewing, they may not be paying attention to your answer. Rather, they're thinking about their next question, which is a huge mistake. So you said you don't worry about the past and you don't look into the future. You're only concerned with the present.
Yeah, and I'm beginning to realize that. I always did it, I think, but I never realized that's what I was doing.
It's an amazing...
But when you meditate about it, to me, that's what I'm doing, I say to myself, because I even forget, never mind, I don't look at the past. I forget what I did in the past, and I don't know what I'm going to do in the future, so the only alternative is to look at the present. Now, maybe it's not as structured as that, but I like the present. I really do. Yeah. For example, let's go to dinner tonight. No, I don't want to go to dinner. That's fine. And we do something else, and we talk, and whatever. You're doing something presently with somebody else, or even when you are by yourself, should I work on this project or that project, and so on. I never say, should I really be working on a project for Lent? What happened 3-4 months ago? I don't even remember what happened 3 or 4 months ago. So I'm not saying it's good or bad. I guess that's the way I operate.
I think it's a really good way of looking at life. I can't find anything I could argue with that. I don't know. You got to kind of come out of body and do a lap around that one.
Well, if you meditate, you can think about it. And
yeah.
If you like doing that, because I'm just thinking you had some good news today.
I did.
An experience that happened today.
Yeah.
Now, you're not worried about all these other guys that gave you wrong information now.
No.
So anyway.
I also got a phone call that was disturbing.
Right. But you're dealing with the happenings of today, not of the past, not of the future.
I have friends that are totally locked into the past. They can't get out of the past. If they email, they'll find something going back decades. I mean, I love it and I remember it, but I can't imagine living in it all the time because I'm here now. I'm a 70-year-old man living as a 70-year-old man. I want to believe in science and say 70 is the new 50 because I don't feel my 70 years.
Right.
I feel much younger than that, but I don't feel 21 and I don't feel 30. I feel like I do right now, right this moment. So that's something I will meditate over, by the way. And I think I like it. I like it, Joe.
Keep this in mind, if you don't mind.
Mm-hmm.
You look at the Lord God in Scripture, refers to himself as I am. And that's always been a very confusing statement that is attributed to God. He says, I am. Why? My name is not I was, because the past is gone. It's over with. My name is not I will be, because nothing has happened yet. But here I am. I am. So he refers to him, my name is I am. And that's in the Old Testament. But it's kind of interesting that God refers to himself as I am. He's the God of the present. He deals with us at the present time.
But we do, you see, well, this would be a great group discussion. It could be phenomenal, actually, because people would find areas that you could say, but wait, by proclaiming what you just did, you just had to go back to get it. So you were looking backwards to stay in the present. Do you follow that?
The knowledge you have that's present in your mind, that's what you're speaking. You didn't have to go look it up in a library or something like that.
Never argue with a former teacher, somebody who's celebrating 50 years of being a teacher, as a matter of fact. Father Joe Grimaldi has been honored this year as the honoree at what they call Irish Night at our former school, Brother Rice High School, and of course you're still helping out at Brother Rice. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
But you're not thinking about that right now because you're thinking about the fact that you're with me and we're doing a podcast talking about the fact that Father Joe doesn't deal with the past, doesn't think about the future. He's thinking about the present. We're thinking about this. And I was focusing on the topic being Lent and the fact that it's down the road. And this morning I decided that with other thoughts, I was going to start to think about Lent and how I was going to prepare for it. And I think that for me, that's the right thing for me to do.
And that's not a bad thing. I'm not saying it's bad. I think different people look at life in different ways. It's only recently that I've come to the point where I can say that's what I'm doing, because in the past I just did it without realizing it, because it always bothered me that I could not remember what I did 2 days ago, But here I am.
I am,
yeah. So, and what happened in the future, and what God said is so true to me anyway, when he says, I am.
Yeah.
That's my name. My name is I am. It's not I was. It's not I will,
it will be. I am. You know what? I'll never forget this conversation. I swear to you, I will never forget this conversation as long as I live, but I can't look back and I can't look forward. But I will remember.
No, you can.
I know. I will. Of course I will. But I do remember this, and it's amazing. Again, you just say something, and if you listen, you get the nugget because you dug it, and I dug that one. I got to tell you that. And now that goes way back to beatnik days, too, of course.
Yeah.
With that said, we've actually done a decent amount of time, my friend. One of the things I want to do to recap on this rather off-the-rails podcast that we've done for you here today is please share the information that you get, or if you enjoy the podcast, with your friends. Tell them not to be afraid of it, that we're not going to overwhelm them with religion. They'll get bits and pieces that they might actually enjoy outside the ropes, as I like to put it. It's a rock and roller and a holy roller, and what the heck can come from that, right? Nobody gets hurt in this podcast. Congratulations on all of the good things going on in your life, currently in the present as well. And what do you have for us, sir, as a prayer?
I think something that's uplifting and something we need because of the frustration that we face because of the pandemic. It seems to come and go. Loving God, help us to focus on what we have, not on what is removed or changed. Strengthen us when we feel discouraged or overwhelmed. Embrace us so that as we know your loving presence within us and among us, walk with us as we bring your love and carry your light into our world. Amen. Now, this is from someone called Sandra Lucas, who has a master's in divinity. God bless you. This is Father Joe Grimaldi, and I look forward to seeing you next time on the Father Joe Podcast.
We'd like to remind you to share the Father Joe podcast with your friends. You can reach Father Joe at frjoepodcast@gmail.com, and you can find us on Facebook or say, Alexa, play the Father Joe podcast. We look forward to seeing you next time.